In May of 2019, I received a phone call from my physician informing me that I had stage 1 colorectal cancer. I captured a day in my life while recovering from the first of 2 surgeries that I underwent during the last 3 months of 2019. My first surgery was in mid-October. I had a proctocolectomy with ilioanal anastomosis, commonly known as a J-pouch surgery. My large intestines were surgically removed during an 8-hour surgical operation. To allow my surgically reconstructed intestines to heal, I had an ileostomy. An ileostomy is when a piece of the small intestine is pulled through the abdominal wall. All of my waste was redirected through a hole in my abdomen and collected in a bag attached to my body. These pictures were taken on November 30th, 2019, roughly 7 weeks after my first surgery. The afternoon started in the kitchen with a bowl of turkey chili, which I made the previous day. The wrapping around my bicep was covering my PICC line, a catheter that went directly into my vena cava. It allowed me to administer fluids intravenously to prevent dehydration, a serious risk that I faced that could result in severe consequences. One of the more difficult tasks was to change the ileostomy appliance. Typically this would happen once every 5 to 7 days, but at the beginning it was far more frequent. It took time and some trial and error to figure out what products worked best for my body. I was using a 2-piece kit. The main piece was an adhesive wafer. It was a malleable disc with a hole in the center where the stoma would be placed. The appliance creates a protective seal between the skin and the stoma. Protecting one's skin is super important, as the output from the stoma is very acidic and causes severe skin irritation. I was still struggling to put back the 20 pounds I had lost after the first surgery, and I needed a lot of adhesive remover to peel off the old wafer and the adhesive bandages used to keep it attached to my body. Once the wafer was off, the next step was always to take a shower. This was the only opportunity to easily wash the skin around the stoma, as well as a chance to take a shower without having to wrap myself up in plastic to keep the appliance dry. This is my stoma. The skin right around the stoma would sometimes get irritated, which is the reddish ring in this picture. The small scars from the laparoscopic incisions used during the surgery are still visible, and there's still glue on my skin despite all my efforts to remove it. Since the stoma has no nerve endings, it didn't hurt to touch it. This is the scar from the incision where they removed my intestines. This, and the eventual scar where the stoma is, are the only remaining clues of the trauma that occurred inside my body. After drying off and removing all the remaining adhesives, it is time to put the new appliance back on. The first step is to surround the stoma with a product called stoma powder. This was a magical product that protected and healed the skin right around the perimeter of the stoma. The next step was to apply an adhesive spray, both on the powder so that it would congeal, and the surrounding area to create a skin barrier and an adhesive coating. Then came the wafer, which itself has several adhesive components. Once the wafer was in place, additional adhesive strips get added to ensure that it stays in place. After adding some odor-eliminating lubricant to the ostomy bag, it then gets connected to the wafer. It snaps on, similar to the way a heavy-duty Ziploc bag works. And then it's time to put away all the supplies. I wore a nylon wrap around my waist to keep the bag from flopping around and to give it more support as it filled up. I did this for 9 weeks. I'm very lucky, as many have to do this for much longer, and there are many people who live with a permanent stoma. Less than 2 weeks after these pictures were taken, I went in for my second surgery, which reversed the ileostomy, essentially putting my guts back inside me and closing me up. The scars are healing, and while the memory of this experience fades, it has left a lasting impression that will always be present. Immense gratitude and love to Michael Kushner, whose empathy, fortitude, kindness, and incredible artistic skills are beyond compare.